way.
Okay. My name is Elvira Prieto. I'm a sophomore in human biology here. I'm from Reedley, California, which is a small agricultural town in the San Joaquin Valley. My parents are migrant workers, and I've worked in the fields with them all my life up until I started coming to school.
My name is Eva Silva. I'm a senior majoring in human biology with an emphasis on education and the diverse classroom. And I'm from Salinas, California, and I'm going to be a math teacher.
My name is Tamara Alvarado, and I'm majoring in Spanish Chicano studies. I'm from a town in San Diego called Escondido, and what else? That's it for now.
My name is Julia Gonzalez Luna. I am a senior majoring in public policy with a focus on education, and I'm from Burbank, California, and I'm going to be a social studies high school teacher.
Okay. We want to ask some questions here as to how this started and how they got involved.
In your own words, how did it start? How did this hunger strike start and why?
How did it start?
Speak to us as if we don't know.
Okay.
Speak to me like I'm 2 years old.
Well, I guess it was a buildup of a lot of different things that have been happening, not only on this campus, but overall in this nation with the status of Chicanos and Chicanas in the United States, in the universities, and everywhere else. So, I guess I can run down, like, since my freshman year, so many things have happened. The closing down of the Office of Chicano Affairs, and then with all the threats with the budget cuts to the ethnic centers, and just these attacks on the theme houses on the ethnic centers and everything else, and then the laying off of Cecilia Burciaga. I mean, everything just like piled on, and so many things were happening that we said, wait, we need to do something about it, and we need to change what's going on because nothing's happening that we want to happen. I'm tired, I'm sorry.
No, you sound good.
Some people wonder why you would need to take a drastic measure like this. Some people say, why didn't you?
Because the administration has been very, and whenever we've had like meetings and townhouse meetings or whatever, get-togethers with any of the administrators, we don't get any results that we're happy with. And so it seemed to me like for them to really understand how extreme the situation is on this campus and how extreme things are outside in terms of immigrant bashing and just the way the people in East Palo Alto are, that it was maybe the only way that it would, I don't know if it would touch their heart or if they would just stop to think about it, or if we could get enough bad press for this university so that they could finally just really think about it. Because otherwise they weren't paying attention. It was just like everything had to go business as usual, and there seemed to be this idea about hierarchy here that it was from top down. It was what they said first, and then if we could deal with that, if we as students could deal with what the university wanted, well then that was fine. And if we couldn't, that's too bad because they're at their position because, they earned it or whatever.
Yeah, because meeting after meeting, like, you didn't get anything concrete from meeting with them every single time. It was just, okay, I'll give you a meeting from 6 to 7. I'll give you a meeting from 5:30 to 6 or whatever. And
We've tried their methods. We've tried their methods of working things out, and their methods are to draw things out for as long as possible in order to not give us things. Yeah, at least, they may say differently, but that's what it feels like, and it's ridiculous to have to spend, I'm sorry I'm slow, but I'm a little bit tired. It's ridiculous to spend so much time just talking about things, and, they're trying to tire us out with just talking. So that's what it had to come to, and, when people are not heard, and this happens in society at large, when people are not heard, I don't know if I want to say abnormal behaviors, but behaviors that are not normal, behaviors that are not normal are what happen. And this is not normal.
Mm-hmm.
This is not normal behavior for us to be, not eating.
Mm-mm.
But But you
I
know,
really like to eat.
yeah, we like to eat. And you know, it just so I emphasize, you know, why are Chicanos in prison? Why are Chicanos, you know, in poverty? That's not normal. That's not normal for people. But because of society, that's how we are.
And we've waited long enough for this. I mean, I know the administration is probably thinking, well, you know, be patient and these changes will happen. But we've been patient long enough. And, you know, the Chicano Studies major it was envisioned back in the 70s, even the 60s. And we've been waiting since then. And it's about time that we get recognized, you know. Chicanos are the biggest, are coming to be a majority in California, and you know, maybe even in the whole country after a while. But I mean, it's about time that our issues get recognized, and that other people just realize that we're not gonna go away, and if they don't educate themselves about us, then it's just gonna be worse for them.
Julia, you co-authored a really beautiful poem entitled Somos Mujeres. What for you is the significance of having four Chicanas taking the vanguard role in this movement, which is really bigger than this campus?
For me, I mean,
For you.
I don't know. We didn't really realize it was 4 women till somebody pointed it out to us.
I mean, we knew it was girls, but we didn't see it like, you know, oh, you know, there's no guys here, and you know, like, you know, what's up with the guys? But I don't know. I mean, we have a lot of supporters that are male, and maybe they didn't say they're gonna go for the long run, but they've been, you know, there the whole time.
Yeah, everybody like has their roles, and it's like there's some people that are the negotiators. There's people that are security over here. There's like everybody has their roles, and you know, we're not the most important, because if it wasn't for them, then you know nobody would be listening to us or whatever. And there's other people that have been fasting also, like Felipe Serino Barragan. He's been fasting these 3 days with us as well, and like there's people that committed to 3 days and others that do one day cycles to show their support and solidarity.
It's true, there are a lot of males that are doing really important stuff in terms of really trying, you know, like with the rest of the women also, trying to take care of us and trying to watch out for this, and they're just constantly looking out to see what, you know, what we need or what needs to be done for the whole group. And so it's, I don't know that it's specifically a female thing to be fasting or anything like that. I mean, you know,
Yeah, because I think
everybody really does have their own role, and everybody's been really supportive, and we're working together. It's really actually
It just so happened that we're the ones that
it was
you know, we're the ones that you know, were ready mentally at this time to fast, and you know, it just so happens that we're all women.
Yeah, people are calling us guerrilleras and revolucionarias and all that. I mean, that's I mean, it's fine. That's what
nice. You know, it's
us,
really that's really nice. But
I mean,
you know, everybody's being revolutionary.
And you know, it comes
the
down
focus
to
should
like
be on everybody.
yeah, it comes down to like what you're, you know, I don't want to say your talent is, because I don't think our talent is to be hungry, but but pretty much like everybody has taken on the role that is best suited for themselves. And
There's Felipe.
There's Felipe.
You know, of all the things that you could have done, of all the actions you could have taken, why fasting? Why did you choose to fast?
Well, it's obviously a really strong statement. You know, it's something that it's uncompromising, and it's something that shows just how serious we are about these issues. They're issues that our fathers, grandfathers, and people way before us, and you know, have fought for, and we have a responsibility to those ancestors of ours to make sure that those dreams that they had, that vision they had, is fulfilled. We can't just, you know, it may be 20 years later from the, you know, the Chicano movement that people think is dead, but it's not dead. We're here and we're living, and we're the Chicano movement.
And Chicana movement.
Yeah. Chicano movement.
Felipe, just joined us, but actually you've been with us throughout this whole struggle from the beginning, as was pointed out. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and your reflections on this struggle?
Sure. My name is Felipe Barragan. I'm a freshman, originally from Los Angeles, California. This struggle, I think, for me, it's something that's very important because I went to high school in Watts, and a lot of people know what Watts is like. 1965, Watts Rebellion, the 92 riots. There I saw issues that the educational system for high school students and Chicanos, Latinos there wasn't addressing the real issues. Once I came here, I got a taste of it, if I can call it a taste, of Chicano studies, and I found out how crucial that was. And I think that getting involved with the struggle is important for me to build the processes with which we learn to deal with inner city, to wipe out the marginalization of our people.
You know, in terms of your actions, you know, a lot of people are probably thinking that you came here to study and that you should be in the classroom, not, you know, protesting. And so you're making a decision, because it is a pretty tough university to be at, and there's a lot of demands, and you're kind of out there really taking a big chance. How did you make that decision?
See, I guess, like, the main thing is, like, I never, like, when I came here, I didn't want to come and just study and go to class and go back home, study, do my work, and just concentrate on myself. While there's people out there, there's students in the high schools that are getting pushed out of the schools, there's, you know, the farm workers that are getting treated badly, there's kids being born without hands because of the pesticides that they put on the grapes. I mean, I can't just sit and concentrate on my own work and not worry about what's going on, because, you know, that's my people, that's my parents, that's my family, that's, you know, everybody. And I wouldn't be able to live with myself without doing anything about it. I wouldn't be able to live with myself with just thinking about myself and my career and getting straight A's and doing my resumes and stuff like that. I wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, both things can be done. And
And also, like, I think that we're doing this so that, you know, later generations of Stanford Chicanos and Chicanas don't have to do it. Today we had, you know, little Chicanitas and Chicanitos from East Palo Alto come out, and from a ballet folklorico group called Raíces de Mexico, and they came out and they came out and supported us. You know, they're just little kids. You know, I don't know, they're probably like from 5 to like 12 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the reason we're doing this now and sacrificing our academic times or study hours or whatever, so that when they come here, you know, they can focus, you know, on doing the things that they need to do instead of having to struggle so much. I mean, I think it's just like our parents, you know, they struggle so that we don't have to struggle. And we don't, and
struggle.
we're still struggling, but at a different level, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We're not, I mean, we don't have to worry, once we get out of here, we're not going to have to worry about where am I going to get something to eat like before, or how are we going to pay the bills. Remember, we're probably going to have to, you know, we're probably going to be able to pay even our parents' bills.
hopefully, yeah.
No,
Yeah, I
teachers
think-
salary, but
think it
big old
also-
teacher salary.
But I think it also goes back to the question about why did we choose a hunger strike? It's kind of like, you know, we know that our grades are going to suffer from this, and we're not going to graduate with a great GPA, you know, as we could have. And I mean, it's to show that, I mean, we know that we're capable of doing a work, but we feel so strongly about this that we're willing to do a little bit, you know, worse than everybody else because our issues are so important. And I mean, I don't know if the administration sees that, but I don't know if anybody sees that.
We see
But-
that,
But I mean, you know, I know that I could be an A student, you know, but I choose to better be like, to be a human being first and to care more about my people than about my grades.
I was gonna ask you, you know, related to the incident that happened on Sunday at the Publix. on the film, Militaries of Shows. How do you feel, or what steps can the university take to educate the student community, even staff and faculty, about the issue of ongoing racism, the issue of why it's important to have abandoned graves on this campus? How do you think the university can take a proactive role in educating the community?
I think if they really truly believe that that isn't right, that the incident at Flix isn't right, or that people should know and should understand that the pesticides and the harm that they're doing to people is wrong, then they should take it upon themselves to educate this university. If they really feel responsible for the education of their students, if they believe that that is an important issue, that people's lives and people's health and the reaction of some or a lot of students finding that amusing, there's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with the mentality or with the ignorance level or something of the students at this university, and they are responsible because they're the administrators. They're in charge of this school. They're here to serve the students, but they're also here to help educate them. And to me that proved just a lot of ignorance. It didn't surprise me, but it was very offensive and it was very disrespectful. And if they agree with that at all, then it's their responsibility to deal with it.
I mean, the main things that we're, just to bring up what we're striking about, we have these issues that we have been dealing with as a community for a long time. And, one of them being a campus ban on grapes, the development of a Chicano studies program, and the community center in East Palo Alto. And, these are things that we can talk about specifically.
And the offer for Cecilia Burciaga.
And the offer for a high-level position for Cecilia Burciaga, a high-level administrator here. Chicano administrator.
Why is it important for the university to recognize Cecilia's contributions? Why is Cecilia's position, Cecilia's role included among these other three?
Well, basically, because it ties down to the whole approach that we're taking, that our education isn't addressing the real issues. The issues being poverty, the joblessness, and the overrepresentation we have in the jails, and just everything. And she ties into that because Cecilia has always worked, for those issues. She's always, she was working on the boycott grapes campaign, and and when she gets here, when she's here, you get here, she's like a role model. Role model. Oh man, I'm getting tired.
What we're talking about.
No,
she's a role model and a role mother.
Mother figure.
That's it.
No, I guess basically because she helps in just keeping us here, because it's hard to survive in a campus like this when you have people like Sunday nights at Flix saying beaners go home, or saying stuff like that here at Stanford. How are we supposed to survive in a climate that doesn't even accept us, that you have to justify your existence? And you need people like Cecilia Burciaga and like Francis that just help you out, just to make, like, especially the transition from like your first year. That's what helped me so much living in Zapata my very first year is, I survived the whole year because I was living there, I think, because, she helped out a lot, like, with my parents and just everything. I think, like, they're always carrying.
She's an important contact for us. There's so few of us here, and then there's so few of our, Chicano and Chicana role models here that we can, talk to and say, hey, this happened to me today, or, it's really strange for me to be here and not be back home where I see a lot of people who look like myself, and these are people that you can talk to, like Cecilia. I find it incredible. She always has time to hear us out.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, when I was a freshman, like I have a really nice story about her that when I didn't, for some dumb chance, I didn't get to live in Zapata my freshman year, and so like I had a lot of problems, like just trying to adapt and trying to decide like what I was gonna do with my life, and I had this whole big problem about deciding whether to be a doctor and secure a good financial future for myself and for my family, or do what I really wanted to do was to be a teacher. And my freshman advisor recommended that I go to her because he had heard so many nice things about her that he thought she could help me. And I remember going into her office and just like crying my guts out because I didn't know where I fit into this university. And she had time, like she sat with me in her office and talked to me and encouraged me to do what I felt was right, that to let my heart decide. And I mean, for the university not to recognize that she is capable of like keeping me here because I was ready to leave, and she literally helped me to stay. And if it wasn't for her, I mean, I wouldn't be here.
All of you are members of MECHA, Movimiento Estudiantil Chicano. That's long history. What is the significance of this new phase? And I'm referring specifically to the various events that started UCLA, UC Santa Barbara, Colorado, University of Colorado, and Michigan State.
Virginia too.
And Virginia too. You talk about this in the context of the overall resurgence of MECHA and Chicano student activism.
I think as MECHA is the Chicano student movement, and there's a long history of activism there, dating back to the original Plan de Santa Barbara. And I think that each of us has maintained that goal of the betterment of La Raza. And our MECHA is very strong, and we support what those founding mechistas came up with in terms of the Plan de Santa Barbara. And it's in UCLA and UC Santa Barbara and other universities. MECHA members and other organizations are taking the leadership and moving the universities to meet the demands. I think it's playing an instrumental role.
Yeah, but, I know.
They got misquoted?
They're gonna print tomorrow.
Are they in support?
We're rolling.
So what happened?
Thank you.
They're gonna print it. They're gonna
That
print tomorrow.
sucks, man.
Okay.
I feel bad for wanting to bring it up.
¿Pueden seguir?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I was gonna ask you. I know earlier I talked to, your dad, and I talked to your mom, and I know from them that it's been really hard for them. I mean, they haven't been eating as well. I mean, they're also, in a way, also in the hunger strike with you. How do you feel about your parents' role in this? How are you gonna explain it to your parents once it's over? You haven't really explained it to them. Or what courage have you gotten from your parents?
I told my biggest worry in terms of deciding to take part in the fast was how my mom was going to take it. Because I thought she was going to, she's an asthmatic, and I thought she was going to get sick because anytime she stresses out, she has really bad attacks and stuff. And I just knew I was going to worry her and I was going to hurt her, and that was the thing that scared me the most. But I talked to her about it, and I kind of eased her into it. I started telling her first about the plan to stay out in the quad and stuff like that, and she was like, well, she told me, before I even mentioned to her that I was going to fast, she said, well, Mija, when you are a leader and you want to take part in changing things when they're bad, sometimes you have to make sacrifices. She said, and, whatever happens, you guys, you have my prayers and you have my support. And so then when I told her, she was like, oh, and I guess she maybe understood or was thought that I was going to get to that. Because I told her, and she was like, well, she said, I'm not going to tell you to do it, and I'm not going to tell you not to do it, because I don't want to feel responsible for you doing it, and I don't want to feel responsible for you feeling bad because maybe it didn't succeed, or because you weren't, you really didn't want to do what you wanted to. She said, but I'm really scared. But she said that she had faith in God, and as long as I had faith in God, that everything was going to be okay. And so for me, it was very empowering, because the minute I got off the phone, I decided I really felt strongly about it already, and I decided that this was something I was going to do. And even though I was going to cause her a lot of pain, that I was going to get through it, and that she was going to get through it. And I'm pretty sure that she hasn't been eating either, and I haven't been able to speak with her since that last time I talked to her. But like she told me, she said, she said for herself that she's already past her youth, and she doesn't know that she can do that much anymore. And she said it's our turn, and so here we are. We're trying to make changes, because I really don't want my little brother to have to do something like this. And I have a younger sister who's here also, and I don't want her to have to, continue this later. I mean, she probably won't have to, just because that's the way things are around here. But, if I can help out in some way so that, the kids that come here later don't have to be going through this, then that would be awesome. So, yeah.
Final question: how has the university administration?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I guess that was the hardest thing for me as well. It's like I knew, like, when we thought of the idea, I knew that I wanted to do it. I wanted to be part of the hunger strike. I just knew that I could do it, and I was gonna have the willpower to go through with it. But the only thing was my mom. I didn't know how to tell her. I didn't know what to tell her. I was scared, because I know that the way my mom is, she worries, and she doesn't sleep that night, and she can't eat, and it's bad. I hate it. I don't like doing that to her, because she still works, and she's getting older and everything. But I don't know, it's just something I felt so deep from my heart. I just thought, so many people are gonna gain a lot from this. So many people are gonna, have a lot of things come out of this, especially like with the East Palo Alto Community Center and with the boycott on the grapes. It's just immediate, like, help for people that are dying and, being born with birth defects. So when I told her, she was telling me, she didn't want me to do it. She was telling me I'm anemic, that I was anemic, that my dad told me I had a low red blood cell count, and they're just coming up with all these things that I had, that I shouldn't be doing it because I was so skinny and I was gonna disappear and this and that. So then, when I told her, it was really hard. She was crying and everything, and then I called her after the first day of the hunger strike, and she couldn't talk to me because she didn't want to cry on the phone. So that would just made me, I was just crying. I was talking to my sister, and my sister's, I was telling her, tell my mom that I'm not hungry, tell her that I'm feeling good, the issues are keeping me alive, and they're going to keep me alive, and I'm going to be okay. So, but she's going to come today because she's worried, and she wants to see me.
Well, the hardest part of this whole thing was just to tell my mom and dad, that I was going to do this, because like we've all said, we don't want to make them suffer. But I told her, and she said, okay, well, if you guys are still out there after 3 days, then I'm going to come out. And then a few minutes before I left, I was talking to her, y me estaba dando la bendición. Do I have to translate that? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. And then, so, she was crying, and I could tell, and she was giving me the bendición, and so she was like, you know what, I'm going to be out there tomorrow and stuff, and, my mom and dad got some money together, and then, so my mom could fly out here and stuff, and, so she came out last night, and, I think it was better for her to come, because she was upset when she saw me, she was crying and stuff, but, she's been really good, and everybody's been really supportive of her, and I think it makes her feel good to feel useful to this thing. She feels a part of this strike, and she feels a part of the movement, and I think that she is, because I'm fighting for her and for everybody, and she slept out there with us last night, so she's hardcore.
For me, that was definitely the hardest part, and after I did it, I wish that I didn't have to, but I know that if I hadn't, it would have been worse for her if she had found out some other way. So I'm just really worried about her because she has heart problems, and I was afraid that if she saw me on the news or something, que, you know, le iba a dar patatus, and then then everything would be worse. But you know, she's fine, and she already told me that she supports me, and even though it's the hardest thing, you know, for her, like, she knows. I told her that it was her who taught me how to fight, and maybe hopefully that made her feel a little bit better, but maybe, hopefully, I don't know exactly how she is. Last time I talked to her, she sounded very weak, and my dad called me like the morning after I told my mom, and he tried his hardest to convince me not to do it. He told me all kinds of things, and he told me, why do you want to go through another hunger after you've suffered so many hungers in your life? And just reminding me of all the things that I've had to go through just to get where I am, and trying to tell me, well, don't do it. But I still did it, and he's here right now, and he came and told me, he's still trying to convince me to stop, because he says, if you know your mom's going to come up here tomorrow, and if you're still on the strike, she's going to strike with you. So I don't know.
I think generally my parents have the same feelings as all of theirs do. But it's a little bit easier for them to handle because tonight's going to be my last day fasting. So that's basically it.
Last word, Hugo?
Well, okay. You said it's for historical purposes, right? So when, 20 years from now, when other Chicanos look at this,
And Chicanas.
And Chicanas. I'm sorry. I'm tired. When other gente see this, just to remember that, even when you're looking at this now, 20 years later, the movement is still alive in you. And we still have to keep struggling because,
Well, hopefully we can stop.
Hopefully we can stop some of it. But I mean, if it's still bad, for 20 years from now, we can do it.
Yeah, and don't take advantage of what what you have. I guess like for us, it's very important to say, oh, we have El Centro, and there's a lot of people that worked hard for it.
Don't settle for what you have.
Don't settle for what you have.
And don't forget us, pretty much. Don't forget
The people who fought before you.
all the things, like the people that fought before us, and the
before
people
us.
and before them, and just remember we're doing this for you, for the future.
I feel like
For the
parting
youth.
words.
My name is...
So, okay.
The new message is
What's
this.
the big...
It is currently about 7:30 on the 6th of May, Friday, 1994. We have just collected, witnessed the 5 testimonials from 5 of the hunger strikers, which have included at one point over 100 solidarity strikers. At this time, we've received the latest response from the administration, which has been recalcitrant up to this point, and I understand that there's still many points that need to be reviewed, and some more dialogue that needs to take place. But at the moment, it looks as though the statement that we have made as a community, the Chicano community, and the statement that comes from various communities throughout the Bay Area and the nation in solidarity with us, has opened or begun to open the administration's eyes to the justness of our cause and our demands. However, as I said, there still is some work to be done. For the moment, it seems as though our first demand, that is the offering of a high-level position to Associate Dean Cecilia Burciaga, is still not being met. And as I said, this is our first demand, and it's very important to us. Some more negotiation has to go on with regards to that.
The second demand involves the establishment of a community center in East Palo Alto to serve the community that literally works to preserve the functioning of this university. And as far as the university's the administration is concerned, they are receptive to the initiative that the Chicano students have presented in terms of bridging the gap between the community and the academy. This has been a very important component to the struggle here. As a matter of fact, this is a component that isn't new. It goes all the way back to the Plan de Santa Barbara, which inaugurated Mecha. So we are very hopeful that some breakthrough will come through here. As regards to the Chicano and Chicana studies, again, this is the justness and the feasibility of this demand has led the administration to also give overtures that are encouraging. Finally, the issue of grapes on campus has, and specifically the negative reactions, the racist reactions to our efforts to educate the community at Stanford has, and our protest against those negative reactions has led the university to embark upon an initiative to educate all the dorms through the showing of the No Grades video, and also through establishing a dialogue with our community, the Chicano community, in an effort to bridge the gaps that have been caused, bridge the divisions that have been caused by the racism that's very often a result of an academy which is very hierarchical, and one which is institutionally and structurally hostile to the presence of minorities and other marginalized people. With this, I would just like to say que viva la raza y adelante. We're going to win this one.